Ladies and gentlemen, what a fight from Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis. That was exceptional, man. I mean, shout out to Lamont Roach, bro. On the betting odds, he was like plus like somewhere near like 900 or something like that, and Gervonta was like favorited by 1100 or something. It was something crazy. The fight in a draw, if you haven't seen it, was a good fight though. I can't show technically any highlights because it's illegal. But I'm gonna give my few quick thoughts here about the fight. First thing is this. I'm gonna show you guys this right here. When I saw this happen, when Gervonta hit him, and then Roach came back with the right and pushed Gervonta back, something I've never seen like that. I said, Gervonta not putting him to sleep. Gervonta is not putting him to sleep because he was eating punches to that point. Ate it, came right back. He did to Gervonta what Gervonta usually does to people. That counter punch will back you up quick, but Roach just kept coming forward. Now, I will say, on the scorecards, Roach was the more inefficient fighter in a sport where efficiency is usually praised, right? I believe Gervonta landed somewhere close to 38%. Roach was in the 28% range, but Roach threw more punches. He was a more aggressive fighter. He was a more active fighter, which scorecards usually, or which judges usually give the advantage to, or like the judges are usually on the side of those of the fighter that's more aggressive, that is just more active and more pressing and more dominant. So, but in a lot of Gervonta Tank Davis fights, he's usually the counter puncher. So this wasn't nothing we haven't seen before. It's just when he landed, Roach was eating them shits, boy. But also too, very controversial though. This knee. Okay. Technically in the sport of boxing, you get hit. And then you take a knee. It don't matter if it's, I'm sure there's a certain time behind it, right? So if you get hit and I just walk around the ring for 30 seconds and then I take a knee, then it might be like, okay, that's not a knockdown. But he got hit, backed up, and then he looked, took a knee because he said he had Vaseline or he had grease in his eyes from his braids, which could very well be true, but I think that's a bad excuse. But technically, this should be a knockdown. Had this been scored as a knockdown by the ref, because the scorecards can't deem it as a knockdown if the ref don't deem it as a knockdown. If it was deemed as a knockdown, I think Frank Roach would have got Frank Roach. I'm thinking of Frank Martin. I'm thinking Lamont Roach would have walked away with 2 belts. I think he would have won this fight. Because I was listening to the people on the commentary. They were saying up to round 12, two of the scorecards had Gervonta Tank Davis winning. They had Frank Roach then win the 12th round to force a draw. So it was very much up in the air. Had Gervonta won that 12th round, he would have won probably by split decision. But for it to be a draw is tough, man. I think they made it a draw because I personally, this is my personal opinion, my personal conspiracy, I don't think they wanted to give Gervonta Tank Davis a loss like that if it wasn't definitive because of the knockdown, right? So the only way to make this definitive is to run it back. Pull a Floyd versus Maidana, because Floyd versus Maidana had a lot of conspiracy saying like, Maidana threw over 800 punches, which is crazy, by the way. The output is insane, but he landed in the 20% when Floyd was, I think, over 40. I think Floyd was like getting 50% from his punches. So Floyd was so efficient. Like I said, efficient fighting usually wins the fights. But throwing 800 something punches showed that Maidana was the more aggressive boxer, in which Floyd has never really been the aggressive boxer later on in his career. So Floyd said, bump it, run it back, Maidana too, and whooped his ass. That's the only way right now Gervonta can gain respect from the masses. Not that I'm not saying that he cares about what people think, but he has to pull a Floyd versus Maidana too to prove that this shit was a fluke and that this is what really should have been happening. I'm saying should have happened. So, but do I think that the fight's gonna happen, the rematch? I don't think that. I think Lamont Roach might get lost in the crowd a little bit, where he might have to fight like a Frank Martin or Rolly, which I don't think is gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna get the Haney or Shakur's next. I think Gervonta is gonna go straight for Haney or Shakur next. That's what I envision happening. I think. Let me backtrack. I do think Lamont's gonna get Frank Martin. My bad. I just don't think he's gonna get the Haney, Shakur, or Gervonta rematch. But I do think, because Frank even tweeted right here, you see it right here. Frank says, Roach, I want that fight. Good shit, though. So Frank wants to get back on the scene after getting knocked out by Gervonta. He wants to go fight Frank Roach, which I think will be a good fight, though, for both fighters. You know what I'm saying? Because then it keeps them active in the light of, okay, one of these guys could potentially reface Gervonta later on in maybe 2026 if Gervonta doesn't rematch Roach in 2025. But I think personally Gervonta has to rematch Roach because Roach probably won that fight if this is counted as a knockdown. I mean, not probably. Roach wins this fight 100% if it's counted as a knockdown. So there's gonna be a lot of speculation about that. I wonder if Roach and his company or his team can go challenge that. Can they challenge the ruling and say this is a knockdown, so I should get X point for that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but it was a really weird situation that happened. But nonetheless, it was a good fight, man. Two boys that know each other for a while. At the end of the day, Gervonta helped his boy, help Lamont Roach make millions of dollars. So it's a win-win for both guys, man. I love seeing shit like that, you know what I mean? But very controversial ending because if it wasn't a draw, I'm almost certain because of the 12th round too that Lamont Roach would have got that dub had they counted that as a knockdown. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, man. Who they should fight next? I think Roach, if he doesn't get the rematch with Gervonta, should fight Frank Martin. And I think if Gervonta moves on, he has to move on to a Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. That's the only way. That's the only fights we want to see. Regardless if Stevenson or if Haney who had to fight soon, if he loses, like, it don't matter. That's what we want to see. Or Orion Garcia Part 2. Bump it. Bump it. That'd be must-see TV. But yeah, appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. Damn. This is a bad look for Gervonta right here, man. And I'm a Gervonta guy, but gotta call a spade a spade. This is potentially the losing piece to this draw right here. It sucks. It sucks to see, but we have to say no. Sayonara.